watching News 3 Now this morning.
And the 608 this morning, we have a story of a local man who used the pandemic to create something pretty special for his family.
This is really cool. Josh Breider is live at the McFarland Historical Society. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. I'm super excited to introduce you to our special guest this morning, who created this project right here that you can see right now in the McFarland Historical Museum this morning. This was something that took years in the making, and this is super special for Tom Thrun, who's with us this morning. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh.
So this is an incredible project that all started about 30 years ago. Talk about how far this has come and really what made you finish this project.
Okay. I'm a third-generation farmer. My folks, Elvin and Norma Thrun, farmed out here Highway AB and Sigakau Road east of McFarland. And my grandfather had the next farm down the road, so third generation, he started about 1900. And we had the farm auction after my dad passed in '94 and sold everything, but I wanted to create for my kids, up in some prairie where we lived, the barn and the silo. Old-fashioned farm. We had a dozen cows, enough hay and straw in the barn every winter that we could feed them, hay stack outside. And under each roof, I've got pictures here that shows a lot of the history. There's my dad putting a new roof on the milk house when he was in his 70s, because things don't last, you gotta fix them. And he built the milk house, he built the granary garage building. And each one of these roofs opens up as well. We had all the grain was stored inside the granary. And then we kept the car here. We had 2 tractors in here. And we had our workhorses. We still had workhorses that would help haul the wagons, the loads of manure, and do a lot of things up through 1964, and they got old and we had to sell them. By the time I was 10 and I could take over driving the tractor and helping my dad plant tobacco and potatoes. My mom used to have to drive the horse on the hay fork rope, and my dad over in the end of the barn would say, "Giddy up." My mom would make the horse go, and the hay would go into the barn on the hay fork.
That's so cool. I mean, you got into big detail here with this.
Yeah, I've got, and then when COVID hit, 2000, and I was officially retired and had a lot of time on my hand, I made all these other buildings, the granary garage, the old milk house, the new milk house. The old milk house served as a place to store the chicken feed for the chicken house, the corn crib there, and a couple extra garages that we built and onto the end of the barn in the 1970s, plus other buildings.
That is so cool. So you can see this right now in the McFarland Historical Society. You actually do talks too that people can actually come and learn a little bit more history.
I'll be here Memorial Weekend when they open up officially for the summer, on Sundays as I can, and by special appointment if groups want to come in and tour. This afternoon, the senior group from McFarland's coming. Thursday, the second senior group is coming. So I'll do that as much as I can over the summer, and then probably talk again to the third graders. And all McFarland third graders come here and get a special tour come September. So I've got 20 little third graders standing around here learning to call cows. Come on! So you imagine 30 little kids screaming at the top of their lungs learning how to call cows.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. I've got a link up on channel3000.com right now, so if you'd like to learn more about this project, a little history here at the McFarland Farm, you can go right there right now, guys. A lot more to learn here with Tom coming up later on in the broadcast, so stay tuned for our next segment about 30 minutes from now. But this is so cool, using the pandemic to really finish a family project here, guys. Doesn't really get any better than this.
Very impressive. Tell him hi for us. Remember, let Josh know what inspires you in the 608, or reach out on social media, or email him for a chance to be featured.